Okay, haven't done a video in a while. Wanted to do some thoughts, the essential lessons. I guess that's the best way of putting it. And you can hear the dog pacing, drilling in the background. He's walking around the house right now. Just got back from running out for an errand this evening after workout and dinner. So if I had to start any one place, it would be with the most important lesson. And I don't want to copycat anyone or use anyone else's material because there's so much other good material out there if you search for it. The main thing, the number one most important thing in life, other than Jesus Christ, would be humility. Humility is going to get you much further in life than any other skill, asset, money, sex, drugs, rock and roll, a car, a gun, whatever, all of that. And mostly it's because it puts you in a position where you don't know everything. You aren't limiting yourself on the top end of the spectrum with your own delusional behavior. That's the best way of putting it. And, looking in the past, I know that at times I was not very humble. I still struggle with that day to day. But there's a couple of things that come to mind when I think of humility. You don't know what you don't know until you know what you don't know. So part of humility is realizing that you don't know everything. You don't need to know everything either. I don't know if that's part of humility, but I think that's having realistic expectations of yourself. So being humble or honest enough to say, I don't know. I don't know. I'll find out. I'll look the answer up for you. I'll do some research and get back to you. Those sorts of things. It also means you don't have to lie. You don't have to bluff. You don't have to tell people a fabrication to make them think that you know when you don't know. And if you look at it from a perspective of interpersonal, have you run into somebody who they don't know and they're just pulling bullshit out, and people are making decisions based off of that bullshit, and when they find out it's bullshit, yeah. So be honest. If you don't know, you don't know. And be willing to learn. That's where humility comes in. On the interpersonal level, it helps you get along better with others because you don't think of yourself more highly than you think of others. You think of yourself as at the same level or below. There's complications when you think of yourself as below other people. There are other aspects of that come in, like servant leadership, selflessness. Those are topics for other days. But humility also is disarming. When you are able to admit that you did something wrong on a professional level, like, for example, work with a very, very proud engineer who's got a couple more years in the business than me. Good for him. So this guy is very proud, much of a bluffer, those sorts of things. I have this thing where I'm like, I really don't want to, put on a huge persuasive argument. I prefer to let the data, the facts speak for themselves. And part of what I'm learning is that I have to put on a persuasive argument also to be effective in my industry. So I'm learning that as well as I go through life. But there was one occasion where we're sitting in this like lower level meeting. So it's me and a couple of other people that are, same level or thereabouts on the food chain of engineering, So we're sitting there and I messed up, which is fine. I mess up a lot. It's okay. It's okay to mess up. And I brought up a couple of things that had gone wrong. I think we were doing some sort of lessons learned, or we were talking about kind of what went wrong in execution, which was just real weird to do with some of these personalities, but you need to do that as well. What went wrong with execution? So I took ownership of something that I did. I made a call. The call was, at the time, it seemed like the right call. It was not the right call after we made that call and went down that path. It cost us time. It didn't get us closer to our objective. It didn't help us with getting a deliverable. So bad call. Yeah. So I tried to own that and kind of put out, hey, I made the wrong call. Won't happen again. Next time I'm not going to make that call. The guy wouldn't let me own it. And it was weird because normally there's a lot of downward pressure because there's this probably thinks of himself as up here when we're all supposed to be at this like mustache level. If I had a mustache, it would be right here. So not letting me own that was a strange turnaround because it's usually very competitive. It's crushing. It's very critical, very performance-based type of feedback, type of language. Like you're gonna go out and play a contact sport with this person when you're doing engineering. That doesn't really make sense, but whatever. Just roll with it. I was really taken aback by that he wouldn't let me own my bad call, even though it was the right call to make at the time, but it turned out not to be right for the project. I don't mind making those calls. Because if I don't make them, I'm not going to learn from my mistakes. So that's why we should stay humble. We should wear mustaches. We should always be at or below the level of the mustache. And if you don't know, you don't know. That's okay. You can go find out. You don't have to have all the answers right now. We aren't playing Jeopardy in real life. At least not right now. Not playing Jeopardy in my house tonight. Gonna play studying, but that's just what we're gonna do for now. So from here out, I guess the number one lesson that I can give you, the number one thing in your life other than Jesus Christ, is be humble and have a nice night.